On this hardcore recap of McBee Dynasty, we are doing episodes 6 through 10 of season 1. We are trying to get prepped to move in to season 3. We're getting there, but just hang on to your butts.
Watching 6 episodes back to back to back is tough.
Yeah, for work. I could watch an entire episode.
I mean, I was watching because you have to sit there and take notes. We take notes. I guess some people probably wouldn't have to, but we take notes. So it's like, all right, pause right here. Wait, rewind it. Go back. Yeah. Pause it again. Go forward a little bit.
So 45 minutes takes an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then you're not really watching because you're looking at your notes. So if something happens, you have to go back and look. So yeah, so we are out here doing the hard work for you guys. Hello, everyone. This is But I'll Take a Pinot Grigio podcast. I am Sunday, pop culture professor, expert on all things pop culture and fake American cowboys. Emphasis on the self-proclaimed.
I'm Nolan, Sunday's daughter, a self-proclaimed pop culture diva, inherited.
I love it.
But yeah, so
if Jeff was here, he would tell you that you should write your intro down so you can read the same one every time.
Okay. Well, I'm new to the game. I was going to say it was a little on the spot. Last time we didn't do the whole intro sitch, so I was a little
I get in
thrown
trouble.
off. Yeah,
I get in trouble with him for not doing the intros, and then Emily and I sometimes we will just launch directly into it because there's so much to talk about. Which, by the way, if I'm doing business, you guys, we're heading into the end of In the City, so just stay tuned for the last few episodes. Emily and I typically just go completely off book and just talk about what we feel in that any given moment during the episode. But we are also got a big treat. I was just watching when Nolan came in. We are taking on Real Housewives of OC of Orange County, but we are also going to go back and watch some of
Rhode Island. Rhode Island's so good.
Rhode Island is good, but this is
new. It's season 1.
Right, but season 20 of Real Housewives of Orange County just came out. 20 years. Listen, think about what you were doing in 2006. In 2006.
I was in first grade.
Exactly. Like 20 years of a show is...
Maybe second, maybe.
It's a big thing. You were 8.
Yeah.
So probably third.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's get into it. We're going to blow through. We're not doing a bit by bit recap. So if you're interested in that, I believe Amy Archer over at Little Miss Recap does it. We're just kind of like getting you caught up, and we're going to go episode by episode and kind of tell you the highlights. So from the last bulk episodes, here's what you need to know. They are $50 million in debt. Galyna is leading up the effort to get them a venture capitalist infusion of $105 million. So everybody is saying, please, for the love of God, Steve.
Stay with her.
Stay with her.
Make her happy.
Make her happy. Be nice to her. Just don't fuck this up. And if this is not the thesis of this show, I don't know what is. He wants to be single, and he wants his sons to be single, and he is mad at anybody trying to change his singlehood or threaten his singlehood.
Yeah, it's like a wolf pack. A single brother wolf pack, plus their dad.
Steven sends Calla $10,000 to $20,000 via Venmo. After 5 years, Cole and Casey are finally official, and Jesse has been with this woman for 10 years and has yet to propose. So that now you're caught up. The very first episode, which is called Power Moves and Paying Dues.
Oh my God. Opened up with the most anxiety-ridden thing I've ever seen in my life. Horse soccer. Oh my God.
No one doesn't trust horses. She's afraid of
you're riding something that has a mind of its own that's like 2 tons. It's scary.
Right. But as evidenced by this scene, you have to really form a relationship with the horse. And because Tessa gets on a horse that wasn't hers, he starts acting crazy and throws her off.
Yeah. And like knocks her in the forehead.
Yeah. She's got like an open wound gushing.
Not a tear was shed though.
Yeah. No, she got up. She put a butterfly Band-Aid on there and kept it moving.
If you just heard that knock, that was my dog Roxy's head hitting the table, jumping up.
But, she says, here in the country, you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep moving. Not what that phrase means. That is not what she means, like rub some dirt on it and keep it moving. But that is not what that phrase means. So we pick up to Stephen Jr.'s, and Calla is there. And if you guys are late to the party, if you're just listening to this, Calla is the woman he met when he was on a previous reality show, Joe Millionaire, in which I believe he was the millionaire and the other guy.
We still have yet to look it up.
The other guy, Kurt, that we see through the...
Yeah, they're best friends. They said they met, and they don't ever tell us what he does, so I'm assuming he's not the millionaire.
Yeah, so, but... She's warming to the idea of living on the farm. Well, that's good because she's committed to living there for 5 months. Really, she's committed to living there while filming. That's what they're filming.
It's just easier probably for everybody. They're like, why don't you just move in? It'll spice things up.
Yeah, and but I think in her heart of hearts, she's ready. Like she's tapping her foot. Hey, man, what's the holdup? Get down on one knee.
And then we cut to Cole and Casey officially making it official for the 7th time, Stephen Jr. says.
After 5, I think Stephen Jr. says for the 39th time.
Oh, sorry, it says 37.
Yeah, there you go.
Me, sorry.
And they call him, and the amount of enmeshment, and I'm going to tell you, I've said this before on many other podcasts, Nolan and I stay in touch a lot, right? Yeah. But the amount of enmeshment that these folks have is wild. They are forever talking to each other, calling each other, spending time with each other, in each other's lives. I don't understand how they have any time to do anything on their own.
Right. It's because the girls just don't do anything else. They just stay home and wait for him to get there.
I guess.
You know what I mean? But, and also we learned, too, that there's a bit of a trickle of, like, everybody just calls Steve Jr.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the brothers.
Right, I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying, their girlfriends are sitting at home waiting on them, so I mean, they don't, it's just them, their girlfriends, and their dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, most of the time they're hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
Later on in one of the episodes, they're like, oh, it's really weird that we don't have dinner with my brother. My brother's not there, it's weird. And it's just a real tight entanglement. But Steven says this whole endeavor with Calla is going to be GVO. Nolan, what's GVO stand for?
Oh, good vibes only.
That's right. Sorry to maybe put you on the spot, but I thought you wrote it down.
No, because I literally said, what does GVO mean? And then in the show, they literally, right after I said that, said good vibes only.
He said it.
You want to say hi, Sheppy?
Say hi.
Hi.
What do you think about McBee Dynasty?
Poopy.
Okay, there you go. Well, speaking of Poopy Head, we move over to Steve Sr.'s house.
Right, with 4 pugs. I wonder if they're Galyna's or his. I'm not sure.
We can't sort it out, but the snoring situation must be out of control.
And the drool.
Are the pugs drool?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They're like super snotty dogs.
I've only had giant dogs who just, make my life a living hell, but also sweet and nice. I love them, whatever. But as mentioned in the last book, her house was for sale, but we learned, too, in this set of episodes that it was kind of sus. Like, it wasn't even on the market.
Yeah, Cole mentioned something that it wasn't on the market, then it immediately sold. I think she probably put it up, didn't tell him, told him it wasn't on the market yet, sold it so that way she could just jump into Steven Sr.'s house.
Yeah, because it was an hour and a half from the farm.
Yeah, and she was like...
She wasn't having that. So she says, we've had 7 locations opening up back to back. I have not had time to figure out the next steps.
But 7 locations in 6 months?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Put a pin in that. That's going to come back later on as we talk about this big, giant venture capitalist deal. But he suggests a storage unit. He's like, well, maybe you should get a storage unit.
And she asks if she can stay there while she looks for a home. I'm like, look for? Why don't you just get an apartment? Like, just, And
I want y'all at home listening to put $1 in a jar every time I tell this man to nut the fuck up. He is such a coward. The things he is saying in his confessional do not match up to the things he's saying to her face. Because in his confessional, he is talking about how he doesn't want her to move in and that she just wants to keep tabs on him.
And she said that she didn't have a plan because finding a house was the last thing on her mind because she's like leveraging the deal kind of over his head because she's like, it's the last thing on my mind because I'm making this big deal, blah, 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 because that big deal is, riding on the whole entire farm.
Yes, and she has, which I figured out, she has connected the success of this deal to the worth to the family.
Yeah,
to her, like, a value as the family. And so not only is the pressure for the business to succeed, but also I think in her mind, she perceives that if she can make this deal go through, then Steve's going to love her, is going to wife her up, is going to be grateful.
When really, he's like going to boot her out as soon as it's done.
Exactly. And she likes to think that she has the upper hand and she's only letting him think it. And I'm like, girl, he's got the upper hand. You're simping.
Living in his house.
Yes. You are simping for this man in a way that is just humiliating.
And he literally is like, we'll figure it out, and like chokes on his eggs while he says that.
Yeah.
She just on the breakfast she just made.
Yeah, Cut to Casey and Cole. And she's on cloud nine that they've declared officiality. She's like, we had some problems in the past, but, I've never loved anyone like this. Girl, you're always going to have problems with this man. Yeah. There is never going to be a situation.
As soon as he gets 2 Bud Lights in him.
Yeah. Well, it's probably more like 6 Bud Lights, but
and 1 vodka sugar-free Red Bull.
That's right. And you know what I've noticed too? Whenever the men are talking either about their relationships or to their partners, they always say, I've made some mistakes. I've made some mistakes, but I'm doing. What do you think those mistakes are, Nolan? Cheating.
Duh.
These men are cheating all over these women, and they are.
It's because these women don't do nothing.
Well,
I'm just
Jesse's wife.
She's in nursing school. She's in nursing school.
I thought she was a nurse full.
No, they mentioned how she was about to start her year of nursing school. But, you know what I mean? They don't have jobs. They don't, I guess Allie's in nursing school. Cool. But, it's just if you don't have anything else in your circle, the only thing you're going to be focused on is your man. You know what I mean? If you don't have anything else to worry about, and we never hear them talk about their family or anything.
Well, I think I don't want to know how Calla, because later on she mentions that she has a $3,000 apartment in Dallas. I assume she means $3,000 a month. What is she doing? Is she an influencer? Probably. That's just code for not to do shit, right?
Yes.
So. He says she's the only girl that he would ever marry, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of words, a lot of talk. But Galyna has...
Well, because literally, I have it right here. Steve Sr. says that Calla and Casey don't do anything. Yeah. Calla hasn't worked in 5 years, he says.
Yeah, and so... I'm kind of with him on that. He says something later about how, jobs are just all over the place. Anybody could go get a job if they wanted. That's a little complicated, but they should be working.
Right.
But I did notice.
Or get a hobby.
Yeah.
Or, find some girlfriends. I guess that's why they all click up soon. But, just find some girlfriends.
Yeah.
That maybe don't date your brother.
Get your own money. Girl, yeah. I did notice that Galyna's got her a new Escalade, though. A brand new one. Black, and she has got this Escalade filled with boxes because she is going to move her stuff in, and she tells the confessional person that she never gets attached to physical property because of communism, because of Russia, and they had to move a lot, and there was a lot of uncertainty in her life, which I can definitely sympathize with her.
Yeah.
And also too, her first marriage, they grew apart. I think that he perceived her to be, he wanted a much more traditional gender role situation where she stayed at home and took care of the kids. And now with Steve, it kind of seems like she's chasing that. She wants to be the business, but she also wants to be Steve's wife. And her, quote, moving in is a bigger step for him than her. Girl, he is not letting you move in. He don't want it.
He's basically just letting you store your stuff there for free. I said, or I was like, she may can sleep in the bed with him 3 nights. She's got to sleep in her own room. He literally said, you have your own space across the
shit
way
is
from
everywhere,
me.
though.
You got your own space. You can just go in there whenever you want. Yeah, 4 nights a week, he doesn't want to sleep with her.
It looks like somebody took her old house, turned it upside down, and just shook the contents out into Steve's basement. There is no organization. Just shit is everywhere. And he is such a coward.
Yeah, I literally wrote, pussy.
Yeah, he will not tell her that he wants her out. And whenever she tries to like talk sweet to him,
he's just like, oh, we'll figure it out.
And he's like, oh, well, the business is going to be so good. Like, thank you for doing the business.
You're such a good person. You're such a good, like, he never says, I love you, or, I really like you, or you're a good girlfriend. And like, he's like, you're such a good person.
He also says that she uses the business to her advantage to try to trap,
she definitely
manipulate,
does.
And control. Yes, because it's
that's the only thing that he cares about.
That's the only thing that he cares about. And the only leverage that she has is this business. Because remember whenever he did that shit with Brooke and she found out and she said, well, do you want me to resign? Which was a veiled threat, right? Mm-hmm. Because he knows that she can't.
After she said it's me or her, and then she was like, do you want me to quit?
And this is where he calls her his best friend. Isn't it so great to like do the business with your best friend?
You should always do business with friends first.
Yeah. How fun to grow up with your best friend. And I'm just wondering, what is this woman? Is she dying inside?
Literally shriveling up on the inside.
Just freaking more double dating. We don't really learn much in the next scene or two. We do learn.
I would say, but it's Tessa's birthday.
Don't forget, though, Steven Jr. loves pickles and mustard.
I didn't even write
I know. There's like 18 bottles of mustard in his fridge.
Oh, yeah. He was like, every time we go to the store, I just buy more mustard because I feel like we're always out. And Kyle was like, and pickles.
Yeah. Before Tessa's birthday, though, this is the scene where she's got a generator on her truck and, and she's like, I'm just one of the guys. She gives Teeter energy. I've said that before, but she just gives Teeter energy. I'm just trying to out here and do this thing. The boss tells me what to do, and I'm just out here doing whatever I'm going to try to do, and this is the thing I'm going to do. And I'm like, oh
Jesse calls her trying to fill up something. She's like, I'm already almost there.
Yeah. I mean, she's the fuel lady, which I did a little digging into that, which is one of the most important jobs on the farm, because if they have 250 employees and say 100 of those folks work the big machinery, all those machines need fuel. So there's somebody who has to figure out how much fuel to order or how much fuel to buy, and needs to make sure that everyone has fuel when they're on the jobs. And so we see that when she kind of pulls up with the tank, do that. But she's like the mother hen. And, Steve Sr. is like, who do you think's the bigger train wreck? Steve Jr. and Calla or Cole and Casey?
Obviously Cole and Casey, but...
Yes, but like...
He just doesn't like Calla.
No, he does not. He does not. But why talk about your children's relationship this way?
Yeah, always negative.
Always negative. And this is where you were saying that she doesn't work. Neither one of them could do. But, he uses Calla as a way to undermine Steven's leadership. He's like, well,
if I need to call you at 4 or 5 p.m., she won't let you answer. You can't run a business if you can't answer your phone.
And he has grave concerns that if Steven is going to let her in his life, that it's really going to be Calla running the business.
No, I think they mean that Calla's going to spend all the money.
Well, that's what he's saying, too. He's saying that, like, she'll always be in Steven Jr.'s ear.
That's what Cole said, I think.
Yeah. And then Casey, which you and I disagree on this, but I find her to be kind of one of the more astute ones, because this is where she says that Senior does not want them booed up, because that means
they don't have a running buddy.
That's right. They can't be daddy's babies forever. And that's true. We see that especially in the next episode when they go to Nashville.
Yeah.
But this is Tessa's birthday. Second mom. Singing. I don't want to talk about it. It's
yeah, I mean, as soon as she started, I was like, oh, God. But I did notice that Galyna is just watching Steven Sr., just watching him.
They're mocking her. They clock that she's watching. They're like, hey, let's walk over here and see if she follows me. Oh, let's do it. And she is.
She does. I think Steven Sr. and Steven Jr. were talking, and they were like kind of like whispering, and they even mentioned that like Galyna's always seeing if they're talking about her, clocks in whenever they talk or whisper or whatever.
Which is interesting in that.
And he even says in that conversation, should I end it with her? But Steven Jr. is just like, oh, but the business.
Well, and Casey, they're sitting on a table like a few feet away, and they're kind of making fun of the whole thing. I love when they rib each other, but Casey, again, in a real astute way, she says, listen, he could just literally break up with her.
Yeah,
he could just end it. And yeah, same girl. But you know what is one of the most cringe things that happens? This is so cringe. Is when Galyna's like trying to dirty talk or sexy talk him, and he just shuts her down.
Yeah,
where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna make your life better.
She was like, her main priority is making his life better,
and he's just like,
oh,
okay.
Take sips,
yeah, anything, or takes a bite of food. Like, oh, it's too much. Just anything.
On a good note, I guess they got Galyna a round trip to Nashville.
Tessa. They got
Tessa a round trip to Nashville for her singing opportunities. I was like, did they call somebody at a record label? Did they get some connections in? Like, I mean, they just bought her a round trip plane ticket. And we're like,
exactly.
Here you go.
I mean, what to say, the house they already own? Yeah. That does not seem like a great
yeah,
trip.
I was like, okay.
But then we found another location that these people own. They call it Red Barn. And then Cole and Casey and Allie and Jesse are double dating again, because these motherfuckers can't do one damn thing without their brothers. Like, they are just always stuck in each other's butt. And then talk turns to who's going to be married first. And Jesse, yucking it up, talks about Braden and Allie, which, who's Braden? We've seen him twice. We don't even know him. We never even see him again after this first few episodes.
Why is every one of Steve Jr.'s shirts so tight? They're so tight.
I don't mind it.
If he flexes, it'll bust open at the seams.
It's like the Hulk.
Yeah, literally. It was just so distracting. Like, if you put a quarter in his back pocket, you'd be able to tell if it was heads or tails.
I mean, he does wear the tight clothes, always. This is where Casey sort of tattles, again, to other open ears, About the 10,000, 20,000.
She said Cal was making more than Jesse and Cole combined just by being Steve Jr.'s girlfriend.
And then cut to Cal saying, please don't repeat that. She's just repeating it like hell.
And then they wake up because Cole couldn't sleep after he figured out about the $10,000, $20,000 that Steve Jr.'s giving Cal.
You know, they immediately have to confront him. Jesse, always the middle child here. Always the middle child.
Such middle child energy.
He is. He's like, listen, man, remember, he's our brother. He just gets real hot real fast. Like, let's just kind of like try to keep a lid on it. Cole, in fact, does not keep a lid on it. Steven says it's his own money. Do you believe that?
His own paychecks. But it's like, obviously he's making more than that.
A ton more.
Because he was saying that, like, everybody's job is valuable.
Borrowed it. That's what I'm saying. They borrowed all this money.
It's nuts.
And they're spending money that they do not have in hand and that they are going to have to pay back in interest. And they were counting on that $105 million to pay back all this shit. But that's a story for another couple episodes. We end this episode with Steve Jr. saying, "You'll get this farm over my dead body." Cool. I got it. Heard
that. Okay.
And then we go to episode 8, which is called Nashville Hot.
Jesus. And we already know where
this was this. So upsetting. There were so many parts of this episode
where I had to close my eyes.
It was wild. So Steve is feeling so fucking suffocated that he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but also it rained.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. They get some rain. So they're good for a while. So let's get the fuck out of here. Okay. There's talk about some corn star trophy. I don't want to talk about. We'll talk about it later.
I did write this down that the Dust Devils were spinning counterclockwise. They said that means it was going to rain. I've never heard that before.
I haven't either. But you know what I wrote down?
Bullshit.
Obviously, not a lot of women that work at this place.
Well, he just said that, and I was like, "That's a crazy." I've heard like the cows are laying down, the fish are. I've heard like all kinds of crazy stuff, but never. I guess we don't have
dust devils. I know we don't have this far south, and it's too wet down here for us to have dust devils. But they're at Steve and Galyna's house, and they're sitting out. Speaking of sweating your nuts.
But they do introduce the corn star really quick. Yeah,
yes. I want to come back to that because they do that later. That's when I said there must not be a lot of women working at this
because of the corn star.
Like, what woman wants to win a corn star award?
Yeah,
whatever.
But also, just whoever plants the most with the most acres and has the best attitude. I don't know who has a good attitude planting crops.
You know who's not eligible? Cole, because his shit's the lowest.
Yeah, he literally said that he has the lowest acres. I said it's because of all these damn boys trips that his dad makes him go on.
They're calling this man on 5 minutes and be like, hey, get your shit together. We got to go. But before that, so we see Steve and Galyna. They're sitting outside. Listen, I don't know what Missouri humidity is like. I don't know what Missouri summer is like, but we're in Georgia.
You can't sit outside.
It's 105 degrees, and the mosquitoes will carry your ribeye steak off.
Like, I literally took the trash out the other day and came back with 6 mosquito bites.
It's miserable, okay? We're not sitting outside. And so Galyna's like, oh, let's sit outside. And she says some things here, Nolan. I am so humiliated for her. She says, oh, well, I was just looking for my very handsome.
And he's just like,
yes, exactly. Clams up. And then she says, I want a stable, open, clear relationship. Again,
he's like, I do not want to be married. I do not want to be in a relationship. No. I do not want a wife.
Don't mislead these folks. He didn't say that out loud. Mm-mm. He said it in his head, and then he said it in his confessional because he is too afraid to say it to this woman because he is afraid she's going to tank this deal. He feels suffocated and hasn't told her to outright leave. And so he uses this bullshit lot thing that they're going to see in Tennessee.
They're trying to buy a new car wash lot. Meanwhile,
debt, yeah. And so they're like, yeah, let's go look at this empty lot that we saw on the internet. Okay, boys, everybody come on.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes to pack.
Let's call all of our cousins and our friends to get them to the Nashville house.
But, that's what Galyna was. They were talking about planning that adult pool party while they were outside, too.
Yes,
Steve Senior's just like, girl, I don't care. I'm not going to be here.
I know. He's like, I don't give a shit.
I'm leaving.
What you do.
Do whatever you got to do.
Please stop interacting with me because I hate you and I hate everything about what's happening.
At that point, she's been with him for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, he's like, I can't go anywhere. She's always there. I'm like, yes, she's living in your house.
But
like, she literally says, this is in Steve Senior's confessional. I thought it was funny. He was like, Galyna always asks me, what can I do to make your life easier? And he's like, you could just leave.
Except he doesn't say it to her.
I know. The producers are like, God, we hear that a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, I just wish that the producers on these shows were as shady as the ones on Love Island. How they are
They'd
actively...
be telling Galyna, be like, look, he really wants you out. You should really confront him about that.
What do you think about when Steve Jr. says he hates you and wants you to be out of his face and you're suffocating him and never wants to see you again? You're okay with that? Like, get some Love Island producers in there. But again, Casey nails it where it's like, it's just his way of hogging them. He's also, he wants to be out of town. He wants to be out juking, as my mom used to say. He wants to be doing all these wild and crazy things, but he doesn't want to do it on his own because he doesn't have any friends that are his age. They're all much younger because friends his age are going to bed with a heating pad and fucking, Tiger Balm on their knees because they stood on their feet all day.
Which I'm surprised he's as limber as he was since he's been digging ditches since he was 12 years old.
That's
surprised
right.
They don't have the arthritis.
Also, Jesse has to cancel plans with Allie's family. They're going to Branson, which is, part of Missouri's like fun. It's like Panama City for Missouri. But they're supposed to go to Branson. And so Jesse has to say, no, sorry, I'm not going. And so Allie says she's going to cancel. Girl, take a stand.
Yeah. And then also, this is really quick where we learn about the $50 million. Oh, thank
very
you.
Cute, baby. So sweet.
Oh, it's so pretty.
A flower for mommy.
He says, Steven Sr. says, car washes are easy, quick money. And then I was like, so sketchy as hell.
It is. So notoriously, so I've heard through the grapevine, not that I would know firsthand, but cash forward business.
Mom asked me, she was like, what do they all have in common? I was like, cash. Money washing.
Cash forward businesses are notoriously easy to launder money. Laundromats, gym, or vending machines, car wash, all that kind of stuff. So meanwhile, Galyna is organizing some revenge ladies' night, and these men don't give a shit.
Yeah, first she does one bowling. I was like, is bowling their idea of a crazy girls' night? And then while they're there, they concoct a much bigger girls' night.
Yeah, but the way she characterizes how her and Steve Sr. got started is little murky. She says, I never really got to spend time with Steve and the boys at first because it was just so complicated how it started. You mean you were fucking him behind his wife's back?
While they were still married?
Is that what you mean? Because that's what happened. So,
and that also, which I don't know why I didn't ever think about till you literally just said it, but I guess that's why too the boys just don't really, they have a kind of disdain for Galyna a little bit, which,
I don't know if they have a disdain. They feel like she is just embarrassing herself and they want to keep her business wise. But remember last time that Cole and Jesse were trying to we're joking about making a Hinge profile for her. They want her to go and, prosper. They just don't want her to be vindictive and fuck it up.
Yeah.
And if I get a sense of what I think I know about Galyna, I think she has that in her. I really do. Allie says that Galyna just longs to be part of the family. She wants to get wifed up. And I don't know how we are.
Because she says too, but last episode too, that she was married for 10 years.
Yeah.
But they just fell out of love or something. And I'm like, fell out of love straight into with Steve Sr. But
Allie says that Steve's a man whore and she doesn't like for him to put Jesse in situations like that, which I'm going to take up for Jesse. I have not seen one iota of bad behavior from this man.
No, he's always just looking like, ooh.
Yes, embarrassed.
Yeah.
This man is going to die of secondhand embarrassment one of these days. He's just going to drop dead because he is so keenly aware of how his brothers and his father act that this poor man.
And two, Galyna says something a little villain at girls' night, the bowling, that she never does anything to try to make Steven Sr. mad. So she's tiptoeing around this man too, just wanting him to want her back and just tiptoeing around the ghost of Christmas past in the house that they live in together.
They ask her, do you think Steve gets jealous? No.
Because she doesn't do anything. Yeah.
But even if she did, I don't think he would care. He'd probably be so relieved.
Go, please, spread your wings.
Get you some D. Get out of my face. I want it out.
And then they're in the car. The boys are on the way to Nashville. And Cole's like, I'm going to call Steve Sr. out. I'm going to call him out. Anytime he's talking about how, the stuff with Galyna, and I'm just going to call him a pussy.
He's a whip motherfucker. I'm going to tell him he's so whoop. He needs to do some shit to Galyna. He calls 5 minutes. Bring.
Yeah, Steve Sr. calls Steve Jr. And they just talk for a second. Then Steve Jr. goes, Colt, you were just saying something, right? Do you want to say something to Dad?
And then when they hang up, and I love this dynamic the most when they are three kind of cutting up against, when it's like 3 versus 1, they're cutting up against their dad, and they're all laughing. And Cole's like, man, I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared to have that conversation, man. Back off. Because it's really cute. But they turn up to the house in Nashville.
Which is 3 stories.
It is nice.
With a rooftop with turf and a fire pit.
And there's like a bar right across the street.
Yeah.
In which he calls down like, hey girls,
I think that was their house that they were staying in.
Really? I thought it was a bar.
No, because they were staying out in the garage. And I think it was just like a house. Because, Nashville's a, travel bachelorette hotspot. Yeah. So it was just a group of girls out there.
But when they get there, the boys are sitting around just like huffing like, ugh, he's out here having fun. We're eating shit from all our girls.
Yeah, I think every single man in that room had a problem because Steve had invited them all there and all their girls were mad.
Steve won't hear that shit though. Whenever they comes in there, and I think, was it Cole that tried to speak up?
Yeah, it literally just wrote, Cole is scared.
He's scared. I think those boys are scared of him because we see in a few minutes whenever he comes up there to kind of shut their little wrestling stuff down. He's like, tread lightly. He uses the bull and horns thing, and he's like, don't let alcohol make you too bold. And they said, whoop, mouths shut, buttholes clenched,
shaking.
Yes, it is. It is handled.
Good Lord, I'm stuttering today.
You can tell they're afraid of him. But night one, the next morning, Cole is hungover as hell.
Also, they did do some work though. They did go see the lot, but
not all of them did. And then did you see Steve Sr. trying to get out of the garage doing a 132-point turn? He keeps tapping the wall. Like, I bet he was so embarrassed.
Yeah, good thing that thing has guardrails on it.
I mean, I bet he begged them producers to take that shit out. Like, he was like, please, please, please stop.
I mean, it was a tight driveway in that
and gas get in there.
That's what and they backed in there because they were coming out forward. So he must have they probably went in like that, but it was hard to get out. I don't know.
I mean, the whole trip was organized around them getting in that car to go over to glance at an empty lot
that they could have just got pictures from off of
they had already seen on the internet, for sure. But yeah, so you want to talk about this scene between Tessa and Galyna? I had to look away. I was so embarrassed.
No, this is the one where Tessa's just in the interview. And they were like, so what do you feel about Galyna? And she's like, can I take a sip? And she takes a sip out of her Polar Pop.
Her Polar Pop. Anybody who was north of the Nason-Dixon line.
It used to be 75 cents. Now it's $1.25.
Or like east of Kansas or west of Kansas. Not going to know what a Polar Pop is, I don't think. But yeah, the Polar Pop is that,
it's
giant.
A gas station big, 72 ounce.
What do you think it had in it? What do you think Tessa's had in it?
Bourbon for sure.
I was thinking Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I was thinking, she said, can I take a sip like it was something to drink.
Maybe it's like bourbon and Diet Dr. Pepper or like Diet Coke Zero or some shit.
Maybe.
Or vanilla Coke.
Well, she said that Galyna came in trying to tell her what to do and that she was like, my only boss is Steve McBee.
And she calls him boss, too.
Yeah.
She calls him boss all the time. But Galyna says that the way that she was received was turbulent because they don't like outsiders. You mean outsiders that fuck their dad when their mom's not looking? Right. You mean those kind of outsiders?
And I have a suspicion, too, that Galyna does not like Tessa. Because, Tessa holds this, really big responsibility on the farm. They couldn't really do anything without her. Mm-hmm. And that, she's known Steve Sr. for so long. And, Tessa even mentions how handsome Steve Sr. used to be. And Galyna kind of gave her a side eye. She was just kind of smiling with her vampire-looking face at her.
Yeah, she does look like if Buffy the Vampire Slayer universe, when they turn into vampires, Galyna has that vibe to her. But that's
because she's just so pale with fair skin with that blonde hair, with the blonde eyebrows, the blonde eyelashes.
I mean, Mascara hates to see her coming. She could do 1 or 2 swipes and it would change the whole way she looks. But that is really, really astute because, and I don't even think Galyna clocks them as having any sort of sexual chemistry.
I think she's just jealous of how important she is.
Yes, she's threatened by them for sure. And Galyna is so delusional. He doesn't want a future with you, girl. Please. This makes how many folks have said it? So
all the boys.
Yeah, Steve Jr. has said it. I believe Tessa has said it. I believe Cole has said it. We're about to see her go.
All the girls have said it.
Arena, her daughter, has said it.
So looking at at least 8 people.
Yeah,
8
for
people.
Sure. We're back to Nashville, and Acme Feed and Seed is a bar. And I thought, how clever of a name. So if like you're on a business trip, you could expense Acme Feed and Seed. Like if you
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, if you work in like the agricultural field, like, oh yeah, no, I was in the feed and seed. That's so smart, so smart.
It's probably what they did.
But
sketchy ass.
You made a comment where you're talking about how he walks around talking about, yeah, I'm Steve McBee.
Like, yeah, no, literally somebody said, what do you do? He said, I'm Steve McBee.
And people are like, oh, yeah.
Who the hell are you? He's 2 states away. Well, actually, how far is Nashville?
I think we did a Google. I think Nashville is close, like 45 minutes or something. Because Kansas City is like 2 hours and Nashville is pretty close. But, you know, he does walk around like he's boss of the universe.
Like, I literally said, like, he walks around and everybody's like, hey, who are you? Like, he's got paparazzi. He's just, like, waving at everybody. Hey, how are you? Hey, and girls.
You also said this, too, where so Jesse calls Allie while they're still sober.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve is shouting to, make sure you tell him not to call him. He's really sending a message through Jesse to tell Allie, to tell Galyna, don't fuck with him while I'm here and don't call him.
And that was what I was saying too about the trickle of like everything goes through Steve Jr. to the boys. Like even the girls will call Steve Jr. first, probably because he always has his phone charged.
Yeah,
if I had to
because he's very, very hyper organized.
Yeah, he's very type A, but his phone's probably always charged. But they always call him to like get information, and Steve Senior's like, nope, don't call me, don't tell me, don't do anything.
This is where we meet Kylie.
Yeah.
With the camo pants.
She is very young. She's very pretty.
Yes.
She's very young.
He says.
But he says not. She's very old, mature for her age.
That is what groomers say when they are trying to lure 8th graders into like the back of their classroom behind a locked door. It is a disgusting vibe. She is at minimum, she's 23.
I was about to say, I mean, she's drinking, so I'm assuming she's 21, but she can't be older than 25.
That is so gross. And it is so funny how individually all of these boys are saying, I really don't want to be like my dad. I really don't want to be like him. Like, I really want to do better. But, like, they're still stuck behind this judgment of his or under his thumb in a way that they don't really have the space to not be like him. They don't want to be, but he has
dang. It says that Kansas City to Nashville, Tennessee is 8 hours. Oh, wait. Sorry. Excuse me. It's Kansas City. My bad. I'm trying.
Gallatin, Missouri.
Look, I have it in Nashville, Tennessee to Gallatin, Missouri. But okay, so Kansas City's right there. There's Gallatin all the way there, so it's 8 hours and 43 minutes.
No way. There's no way. Hold on. Y'all love it when we Google on air. Yeah. Sunday Google's on air.
Da, 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 da.
But there's no way.
Look, there's Missouri and there's Tennessee. You know, I'm not very versed on the U.S. map, so I got to do a lot of Googling when we talk about things.
Oh, God, you're right.
They made it seem like it was a jump away.
Why don't they fly?
Probably because they need their truck to look at the lot.
That is
probably write off gas, too, as
wild.
A business expense if they're just, driving there.
That is a really long drive. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
anyway, y'all, sorry.
We our Google, but...
Oh, so Kansas City's only an hour from
Gallatin. It was right there, yeah.
So anyway, he's getting teased about how young this woman is.
And also, he drinks Tito's and sugar-free Red Bull, which is such a douchebag drink
That is diabolical. This man must stay with a headache. Mm-hmm. He is 100% going through a midlife crisis.
Oh, for sure. Everybody says it.
And the boys see how volatile this situation is because remember, let's just, as we're doing a count, Galyna was around at the end or overlapping with his mom. Brooke was there overlapping with Galyna, and now this Kylie woman,
we don't know how long they've been together,
is overlapping with Galyna. So the boys see how this could explode. It's $100 million on the line. This man cannot keep his dick in his pants for $100 million. Like, that just goes to show you, like, there is no amount of money that can make a man act right.
I would say, and he's also so weird too about, like, I guess not claiming anybody. She's like, can I have a kiss? Like, when they're at the bar, and he's like, and then leans in for like a quick peck. Like, he's so not wanting a wife. He won't even kiss his third girlfriend in a bar. I'm like, you're in Nashville, just kiss her.
Girl, this is where they go upstairs and they start meeting some women. They meet a woman, Yulia, with a 6-pack. And then...
Well, wait, we have to say this really quick.
Oh, okay.
Steven Senior talking about Kylie is just digging himself farther and farther in a hole. He was like, I know a lot of 40-year-olds that act like 8th graders. You know, she acts like a 40-year-old. I'm like, that's still 11 years younger than you.
Yeah, I mean...
Also, what does that even mean? Gross.
And also, how well do you know this woman?
Probably not well. Probably what her tongue tastes like.
Exactly. Well, did Steve Senior take her to prom? Like, it is a disgusting situation. Yeah, Nolan's eyelash fell off, and it is looking real crazy. So just put that aside. But... So upstairs, Steve Sr., like I said last time, he got hot late in life. And so his game is fairly rickety. He's like, let me see your six-pack. Ooh, punch me in the stomach.
I mean, she did have a...
She does.
Which we didn't say Yulia, so we're talking about was another girl they met in a bar. She did have a crazy-ass six-pack.
Nolan, we meet Carissa and Caitlin. Who are these people? They're twins, y'all.
They're kissing twins. They're incest twins.
These incest twins, for the gaze of these men, for this male-centered bullshit that they're doing, make out with their sister. They're literally kissing their sister. I cannot. So that's where that episode ends. We move in to the next one. I believe episode 8, I think, where the women strike back. Not a lot to say here. That Galyna has organized a simultaneous girls' weekend in which she's kind of like stacking. She is desperate.
But we also forgot to mention how much those twins were all over Steven Jr. and he resisted. Like, I mean, they were on his lap, unbuttoning his shirt, licking his face.
He made out with them.
No, he didn't. We didn't see.
I saw him making out and getting a lap dance from the twins. There was some lip-to-lip contact.
I think he didn't do it, but they leaned in and he was like, "No, I can't. I just can't."
There was a seductive wink too. I don't know.
Yeah.
We diverged because episode 8.
And he kept saying, "Y'all are gonna get me in trouble."
Yeah, because you're a douche. But anyway, everybody's hungover. Blah blah blah. So Kurt Millionaire.
This one's, called the Women's Strike Back.
I must say, Kurt Millionaire questions the thing with Galyna. So the producers are prodding everybody to get him to talk about it more and more and more and more. Everybody thinks she's a good person, but there's just so much pressure from her. Blah blah blah. We get it. The way these men talk about women is so gross because, like, bitches be tripping.
Yeah,
bitches be tripping. And
I also wrote down that Steven Jr. is 28 going on 40. But
yes. And Steve Sr. is 51 going on 19.
Literally.
So this is where we start to see this deal fall apart too.
Oh,
Galyna meets with the venture capitalist, and he's real skittish. He's like, listen, I just don't know, man.
I mean, it is really sketchy because, they opened 7 in the course of 6 months, and there's no proof of how they're going to work out. So if they bankrupt, in the next year, which seems like that's where it's going, that guy would have invested all that money for nothing. So there's no, back proof. They haven't had car washes before, so there's no,
So this is where we start to see, oh no, this shit might not be a sure thing. And then the second night of the Girls Gone Wild, they are in the car drinking Sunny D and tequila roadies.
It could have been vodka, I guess tequila, but they were also drinking screwdrivers, which I really hate.
Nolan, as a bartender, does not love that. We had this whole conversation.
Mean vodka and orange juice? Come on. We're not drinking Smirnoffs, but...
So they go to a strip mall bar, and it is not a strip club. But
it is not a strip club, but they do hire a stripper to come.
These men are so oily. How?
It's one man. It is one man.
Is it one man? I thought it was two.
No, that's why he's so sweaty.
He's not sweaty. He is oiled to the gods.
Well, both. But...
And so he's humping Galyna. He has got Allie in full on tractor, wheelbarrow
playing
pose,
the
bongos
on her ass. But also, Galyna invited the loaners, the guy who's doing the loan for them, his wife, to the stripper mall bar.
This woman is sitting there thinking, what the hell? Where did I get myself into?
Take the investment back right now.
She does get a little bit of a very chaste lap dance, but when she leaves, Galyna whispers in her ear, tell him to invest in us. Girl, you're making it weird. You made it real weird.
She's like, I just came from Mark's, but...
And then the very next morning, this is the morning whenever Steve Jr. wakes up and realizes that there's no place he'd rather be than at home with Calla. So, we'll see about that, sir.
Also, I just have to make a comment about all of their very varying outfits that they wore on Girls.
They're all going to different places in different seasons.
Casey looked like she was going to ninth grade homecoming.
Yes, she did.
With that, it was tough in 2012.
Allie looked like a trad wife influencer.
Yes, she did. I don't even. Galyna, I think she had on pants, or did she have on? It was something like orange. I feel like
I don't know. She never looks dressed up because her hair is always pulled in a very sloppy ponytail, and she has no
or like that
on.
half bun ponytail thing.
Yeah, and she never draws her eyebrows in, which fine. Everybody is everybody, but I just want to say if you're from the neck up, you have to differentiate.
You pick one thing, right? You cannot do one thing. So if you don't do your makeup, your hair and your outfit have to be on. If you do your makeup, you have to have your hair, your outfit done. If you wear, there's always one thing that you're supposed to take out.
This is counterintuitive because I have to feel like all three has to be like dealing with a thing. If I'm going somewhere.
Because, you can get away if you have your makeup done in a really cute outfit if your hair looks a little crazy.
I don't know.
And you can get away with not having makeup on if your hair looks good and you have a good outfit on. Or you can get away with wearing something not super cute if your makeup and your hair done.
I mean, fair, I guess. But Galyna does have a bit of a moment in the car where she's like, listen, man, am I just convenient? Are everybody just using me because I'm the smartest of all of y'all? Yes. It's like you almost got there, Galyna. Just stay in this train of thought. Stay here.
Yeah. Also, one of the older farm hands that they brought out with them took a video of them getting danced with the strippers and sent it to Steve Jr.
I love it. Steve Jr. and then it trickles down.
Yeah.
And, I think that's hilarious.
Also, we see the incest twins again in Nashville.
Yeah, they turn up again.
But
also, there's also a weird Uber ride with Kylie and another rando.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so one of the other farmhands is in the car, and he was FaceTiming his girlfriend Tegan, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in the car with Steven Sr. We're going back to the house, just to check in FaceTime call after a night out." And Kylie's sitting next to Steven Sr. and she's like, "I'm here too. I'm Kylie." And Steven Sr.'s like, "Fucking shut the fuck up." He's like, no.
He's a terrible criminal.
Literally.
Like, this man, if he is going to be stupid, you need to be tough. And he is really dumb.
So now that also is going to trickle down to all the boys and all their girlfriends, and obviously back down to Galyna eventually.
I don't want to say much about this whole thing too, but like they get home and they're all just like cutting up like hell. The boys are wrestling, just like playing at being 8 years old, and Steve Sr. comes up there so mad, yelling, "You're done. Get it out. Stop it. Quit it. Quit it." When I say that these boys froze in place like somebody yelled red light, they just froze. Mouths open. Like still, one of them still got his arm around the neck.
No, like they literally froze like somebody said, "Freeze."
Yeah. And you can tell. I just wonder if this was a little bit of a snapshot into what their childhood looked like. Because, remember Jesse talks about how there were people were throwing things. There was always yelling. There was always this, and this. And so I would love to meet their mom. Their mom's name's Christy. I think we meet her next season. I cannot wait. I want to hear her side of things.
I bet she's a badass.
Yeah, well,
raising all the damn boys on the farm.
I bet she's good at cleaning the bathroom. Can you imagine how dirty a fucking bathroom is with 4 teenage boys?
No.
Yeah. So they all get home. They're all just like struggling, wandering in.
And Jessie gets home and Allie's folding the laundry. She said, "I cleaned the bathroom. I cleaned the bedroom, whatever." Jessie's like, "Okay." And knowing that cause she wants Jessie to be mad about the stripper because she did that to get back at him, They all did. That's why they invited the stripper in the first place.
He's a super sweet sport about it because I don't really think he's all that mad about it. Yeah, I think he knows that she wants him to be. And so he's performing this so that he can give her what she wants. He even makes a funny comment like, "Yeah, I bet there are no leftovers just hanging out with the stripper." Yeah. And it's just cute. He's doing it for her, and I find him to be very, very endearing. All of this, there's some back and forth with Steve Jr. gets a facial and they're fishing. And
we also learned that Steve Sr. spent $3,000 at the bar.
Yeah, the bar tab. Yeah. They do talk a little bit about like this Peter Pan shit that Steve Sr. is going through is really hard on the boys because I think it is such an impediment to them because they cannot do what they want to do. They can't move through a relationship in a normal way. They cannot grow with a woman because they are so handicapped by what their dad wants them to do. And, this whole conversation with Steve Sr. and Galyna it's like, he says, "Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty chill weekend."
And he says, "I was born a free man. I'm going to die one."
In his confessional, he's like, I want space. You're smothering her. To her, he was like, yeah, I mean, it's cool. I can't tell you how many women there were.
We're good.
Then there's this scene with Steve Jr.'s Kansas City condo in which he hires a chef and does this whole thing to literally just make
how much money is he making?
I mean, it's all of it just to make it Instagram official.
I'm like, he's not proposing. I was like, hell no. I'm like, okay, so this is just a Instagram picture set up? Like,
and that's what he wants. And in her mind, that Instagram picture is a commitment. Everybody sees, okay, we're together.
Because his Instagram, Casey says this too, that their Instagram looks like they're single.
Yeah. And she says, as far as the public knows.
Are we in 8th grade? Like, single relationship? Like, I don't even think my boyfriend asked me to be his girlfriend. Which it's like, what is going on?
The whole business of it's Instagram stuff that you followed me, you unfollowed me, put me on your Instagram. It's really foreign to me. I'm a Gen X person. I'm a millennial, but it's so silly to me.
I mean, I get it when you're young, super young, but like, who is really checking Instagram? Like, I guess maybe these girls got a job. Well, but like, who's checking Instagram and everything like that so much where you check? I don't know.
I think that you really sort of like nailed it. This is Kala's equivalent of a promise ring.
I did say that.
Yeah, putting her on Instagram is sort of his way of saying, okay, I'm committed. So that was the end of episode 8.
But we also get a little snapshot that Jesse's building a house.
Yeah, that's episode 9.
Yeah, so they show it a little bit in the beginning, but he's building a house. So I was like, dang, building her a house before a ring, which is nuts. So, but
breaking point. I have a feeling that's the name of the episode. I have a feeling that Jesse would have proposed a long time ago if he wasn't afraid his daddy would get mad.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, 10 years is crazy. Half of it is in high school, so that doesn't really count. So we'll maybe say, like 5 or 6 years, but still.
The house is nice as hell, though. It's really white and spacious, and it has a lake view, it has a gym, a sauna, entertainment room.
Gen Z gray.
Everything
is very monotone and matched. Like, even the couch is gray.
But, and you just said this too. Like, she's like, 10 years, there's no ring. They are 25 years old.
That's what I'm saying. The first 5 years don't, or the first
that
4
is
years
just wild work to be tapping your foot at 25 years old. But, I think it is pretty telling, though, where Allie's like, I'm just really scared to press the issue. I really am scared.
Yeah, like, why are you afraid of him?
Why? Yeah, what do you think he's going to do? Which I have a soft spot for Jesse. I don't think he'd ever do anything.
Yeah, probably not. But then they go to, like, where all the girls are, because Allie is showing the girls around the house. So they're like, they brought champagne, they brought crumble cookie.
Kind of like a little girls' night.
Yeah, brought, like, crumble cookie, which Galyna wasn't invited to this one. Yikes.
No, they don't really like her, I don't think.
But all the girls start, like, putting, like, the pressure on Allie and just being like, why are you having a house before a ring? Like, pretty much, like, trying to make her give him an ultimatum, which I thought was a little fucked up.
What they do, though, is they give her a script to repeat back to him because she's too afraid of saying, Jesse, I want you to marry me. Do this or else. So she says, well, the girl said that I should give you an ultimatum. The girl said this and that. And that's a little bit later, but and
then I forget, Callie, while they're all having a girls' night, says that Stephen Jr.'s idea of flirting is, let's talk about our goals, which I thought was funny.
That is tough.
Because he's so type A. Like, I figure he has, like, every shirt in every color hanging up in his closet. You know what I mean?
Can't say much about it. I am fairly type A myself, but Steve also has a new house in the city too, Steve Sr., and Galyna is there showing Arena around.
Oh, God. But the house that she's organizing and building for Steve Sr. that she thinks that she's going to be living in.
Well,
and her daughter's kind of like trying to shake her awake. Like, are you sure that you're going to be here?
This is like number 12 people that has tried to kind of talk truth into her because, like I said earlier, she's really terrified because if the VC stuff, the venture capitalist stuff doesn't go through, she's worried that it's going to fall through with the relationship, which I think it's gonna.
That's why he's just ready to be done. He's like, I don't know. He's like, either way, I'm out.
So Steve Sr. takes Cole to a loan appointment.
Right, because it's almost the end of planning season.
The Bank of Odessa, which is like landman shit. Yeah. Well, it is. It is the end of planning season. They have a party. They're gonna have a party, whatever.
Yeah, but Steve Sr. takes him to a lot that they, like, planted, and Cole was like, it was like this talk between them where Steve Sr. was like, look, like, I probably would have replanted this, and Cole was like, yeah, I thought it, but I didn't know if that was my spot to redo that. And Steve Sr.'s kind of like, look, like, you got to make these decisions. I was making these decisions at 20, 21 years old.
If I hear that one more fucking time, Shut up. We get
digging
it.
ditches at 12.
Yeah,
but,
we got it. You had a hard life.
So it kind of like shook him around, and that's why he led to take him to the bank to get a little bit more responsibility.
Because they're buying a meat facility. It's going to be McBeef. You love that name, don't you, Nolan? And apparently,
if it ain't McBeef.
Apparently they had already sort of like had a pre-conversation because the dude gives them a loan. Here you go. Here's money. Have at it. And they get the loan. And I just wrote down, are we watching bank fraud in real time right now? Like, are we watching this man defraud a bank? Because I think that we are. Am I an accessory? Do I need to, get an alibi? I don't know. Let's see. They're at the office. This is where Steve Jr. comes to Galyna's office to have another conversation about her. He asks about their relationship, and she's committed. He was like, listen, he ain't gonna change, girl. He's never gonna change. Again, another man. He's worried about her well-being. This is where Junior talks about how his mom went to a palm reader.
Oh, yeah. And he was like, yeah, my mom said that she was going to have 3 kids and the last one was going to be a troublemaker. So by the time I was a teenager, I was already starting to act up. So she was like, whatever, you got to get out.
Teenager.
12.
I remember he was digging ditches at 12 years old.
But also right before this, they go meet all the managers of the...
Oh, yeah. This is so contrived.
Yeah, of the car wash. And they're all like, hey. And I'm like, they're just meeting these people. It's because there's so many and they're popping them up so fast.
Yeah.
Which is sketchy as hell.
So sketchy. We are watching fraud happened in real life.
And then too, at that party, which I wrote this down too, at that like little whatever, like get together they have with the managers, Galyna says to Steve that, hi. She goes up and says, hi, you're my person. And then as he's like openly flirting with other women at this party. Which is just gross.
So, and then...
Also while they're there too, Galyna peeps Steve Sr. on FaceTime with girlfriend number 3 and remember goes to sleep in the car. And they're like, where's Galyna? And they're like, she's asleep in the car.
Yeah, because she says that she just goes into full body paralysis when she gets heavy stress. Cole and Casey go on a date in a Mexican restaurant at the tiniest table ever.
I literally said tiny little hole in the wall Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, like literally
tiny table.
Every table's empty. They put them in like this tiny little 2-seater. We do learn some things. They like to have sex every day, but he wants it to be spicier.
Yeah,
dude,
I'm like, what else can she do? She's still putting it out every day.
So Kylie sort of teases him a little bit about Nashville, and I guess Kylie had tagged
Casey.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Kylie,
sorry.
Kid Cole, and then I just wrote...
It's Kylie, Casey, Kylie, there's so many.
But I just wrote, is Kylie going to be Cole's new stepmom?
Yeah, that's literally... Casey's kind of funny, though.
So back to Steve Sr.'s house. Steve Jr. breaks the news to Steve Sr. like this is breaking, brand new news that Galyna's not doing well. And he takes her swimming.
Yeah, he said, swimming just calms the nerves. The sun just calms the nerves. I'm hoping it'll put her at peace before I talk to her.
I want to have an honest convo how she's doing. Spoiler, they do not have an honest convo because
Galyna whips out the manipulation trick from her dad.
She talks about how her dad was just so controlling and did not value her, and that, as a woman, he didn't even want her to have an education.
Well, I feel like her woman's spidey senses were clicking in as soon as he took her out somewhere. Oh, yeah. She was like, oop, let me turn it up.
She uses what he already knows about her to keep him from breaking up with her. That is literally what it is. Even if you, and he even tries, he's like, listen, I really want this to work. Even if you date someone else. And she says, I never want to date anyone else. And, the producer even asks him, are you in love with her? And he can't answer. He couldn't.
That's a vocal.
I mean, he could have, but he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't figure out the separation between the two.
Here's my turn.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Thanks, Sheppy. This is also too, right after that little date is when Greg the investor calls, and this is sort of the second block in the toppling of this deal. They're only offering $20 million.
Which ain't shit.
No, because they're $50 million of debt.
Because then you'd still have to owe them too, right? Or they make it an investment so they wouldn't have to pay them back.
Well, it was fine.
Or they get like a percentage? Or...
They wouldn't owe them, but that money is not enough for them to pay off their existing debt. So they would still be $30 million in debt even after this contribution.
Jesus.
So, but she's like, I can turn it around. Steve loves me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I can turn it around, y'all.
She also, when they're on the phone, she's like, I don't understand. Like, I feel like she kind of uses, like, her, like, Russian to try to, like, get people to, like, explain themselves more. You know what I mean? Like, she's really smart. Like, she'll be like, I don't understand. Like, what are you saying? It makes them say it. Yeah, it makes them say it over and over again because nobody wants to give you bad news a bunch of times. But
the end of this episode sets up the season finale where Brooke is coming to pick up the keys to the Nashville house. And so episode 10 is called Worst Case Scenario.
But at the end of episode 9, we do see, because Brooke is apparently, you know, interior designing Steve's Nashville house, which it flashbacks to a scene where Steve's like, if you ever want to use my Nashville house, you better. If you don't, I'm going to hunt you down and find you and put you in the house. Whatever.
He broke up with her in a park because he was too afraid to do it in public.
Literally. So Steve gives Tessa the keys and makes Tessa do it because he's, you know, pussy.
Yeah, but so scared.
Tessa's like, I don't want to be involved, you know, and then she walks up and sees Galyna's car there, and then the episode is, like, over.
And so when we pick up on episode 10, all 3 of these women are in there, and it's real tense. And it's like, you're pathetic. No, you are. And apparently there's been some Instagram stalking. There's some pretending to be in a relationship. So they're giving it back and forth to each other pretty good.
And, like, Brooke is just like, you know, I hope you get some therapy, you know. Steve doesn't really like you, blah, blah, blah. These are Steve's keys. Like, you don't have a say. And she's like, call him. And, you know, Steve answers, and he's just like, I don't want to be a part of this, blah, blah, blah. And
he's so chicken. He's like, y'all do whatever you want to do. Sir, you created this whole mess, and now you are offloading it. No. He's offloading it to them. If he had really wanted to do something, he would have taken those keys, met her somewhere, given them to him, circumvented this whole thing. He is so scared.
Well, what I'm saying is, I don't understand why Tessa went up there and even told Galyna. Galyna was up all the way upstairs, down the hallway, in the back of her office, and she went up there and told her, like, hey, boss, hey, girl. She didn't say boss, that's what she called Steve Sr., but she was like, hey, girl, like, just so you know, Brooke's about to pull up. And so Galyna's like, like, gets big and, you know, puffed out.
Yeah, and there's some, like, really silly stuff happening, like, you know, well, Brooke says, listen, in all my 41 years, you look 51. And, you know, there's, like, a lot of really uncomfortable back and forth. And Tessa does take up for Galyna and says, you know, she's part of this family. I won't let anybody disrespect. You know how I feel about disrespect. You guys go back and listen to any of the other podcasts about how I feel about disrespect. Where disrespect is just a code word for obedience or compliance. And so they leave it. And Brooke doesn't even...
But Brooke's trying to get out the door. Yeah. And there's a push button. And Galyna's like, look, I know that's above your intelligence, but there's a push button right there.
It's so
And honestly,
gross.
Galyna, she does need therapy. Brooke was not wrong. I was kind of team Brooke on this one.
Yeah,
like, she came in to, like, a firestorm. Like, she walked in thinking she was just going to get the keys. And she walked in to somebody saying, what the fuck are you doing here? Galyna's like, the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine Brooke didn't really want to come to face with Buffy the Vampire Slayer's main arch nemesis. Like, I don't imagine she would either. So it is what it is. And
she says that she's pathetic, which I don't like that either. Galyna says that to Brooke. I'm just like, ugh.
I imagine that Steve has been talking to her all along. He never really broke it off. So he's got these 3 women that he has got, like, on the hook. And
then straight to Galyna's confessional where she was just like, you know, I actually don't really blame Brooke. I think Steve Sr.'s enabling her. I'm like, well, you just called her a fucking bitch 5 seconds ago.
But, you know, the confessionals are filmed so much later that I think she had some time to marinate on it, because at the end of that scene at the office, we go to Steve's house where Galyna is piled up at like 11 o'clock in the morning in full paralysis mode, like she did in the car, where she is just disassociating from the situation. She's got the pressure.
She got that fight with Brooke, and then the $100 million, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say?
The $100 million, yeah.
Jesus.
And she can't take it. Mm-mm. So then we have this little scene between Steve and Junior where the only thing we need to know about it is that Jesse has asked his mom for the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time. It's happening. It's happening.
Oh, well, we did also skip a little bit about the Tessa and Galyna talking a little bit after the altercation.
Again,
they went upstairs and
another pep talk. Girl, get out.
Yeah, Tessa was defending Steve Sr. the whole time. She was like, that divorce really rocked him. I've seen a lot of people fall from grace after a divorce, blah, 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 blah.
She said he had a lot of trauma.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then, that triggered Galyna. She was like, trauma? I know about trauma.
She does.
Turned into a robot.
But I think Tessa is low-key saying, girl, get out. This ain't for you. This man is terrible and broken and will never, ever, ever be sweet to you.
Oh, and then also we learned today Galyna is like laying there dying and on the couch.
That's what I was saying, in full paralysis mode.
Yeah, because the lone guy canceled their meeting.
Yeah.
So not only did they tell them they weren't going to give him their all the money, the next day they were supposed to have a meeting. He canceled it. So she's like full stress.
Yeah, I said that just a few. So Galyna has low threshold for stress.
Which doesn't seem like that's the job.
I know, and the wrong man that she's attached her to. So the very next whole thing is Jesse proposing to Allie.
Oh, right, because
this is so sweet and it's so cute.
Yeah, because Steve Jr. is at dinner with Calla, and they called, and Calla was like, "That's the only call you get."
Are we having the same conversation?
Sorry,
I feel like you're like 6 beats behind me. I literally just said that.
What'd you say about Calla? That's the only call you get at dinner. That's what I was saying.
I said that his mom called and was like, "The ring is okay." So we're all caught up now.
We do have to say the waiter. The waiter said something about all of our food is locally sourced.
Okay.
And Steve Jr. looked at him and was like, "Ooh, what?"
Yeah.
That's when he says our McBeef.
They're not serving McBeef, y'all.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so we're caught up now. We can talk about the proposal. Okay. It was cute. Jesse saddles up the horses. They ride out to this spot. Beautiful space. Like so many million zillions of acres these folks own. Like this is the dream. This is beautiful. I know you hate horses.
No, I was just saying, but I'm sure a bunch of them knew, and they let her go get proposed to in a collared shirt and Wrangler jeans.
I feel like that's on brand.
I mean,
what is she going to do? She's going to put her 4-inch heels and just aerate the whole damn thing? Well, she's going to, ride in her saddle with her gown on? No.
Maybe he could have, I don't know. I just could not get past it with her shirt tucked in and everything. I was
so sweet. And Jesse was nervous. And this whole thing, he had this little speech that he said he didn't prepare beforehand. But what really got me is when they're hugging and she's like, "Oh my God, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding?" Which, how fucked up would it be if he was kidding? But he wasn't. He's like, no, I'm not kidding. And he whispered in her ear, "I'm sorry it took so long." And I find that to be so endearing because he knows that she has been waiting on it. She's so excited. He's relieved. And then they come back because it's getting dark and the brothers are waiting on him. Not Braden. Fuck you, Braden. You're not part of this.
You weren't invited. Sorry.
You're not part of this, Braden. Oh, and this is where we start to wind down the episode.
Yeah.
So that happiness, and then
tragic.
Galyna got a bad phone call.
But I thought it was super cute too how Allie wasn't on the horse because they were like, "Why aren't you riding the horse?" And she was like, "I'm too excited. I didn't want to spook it."
She didn't want to spook the horses,
which was cute.
And so Galyna gets a bad phone call. And there's some Frankenbiting happening here between her telling Steve Sr. and Jr. So we're just going to kind of like blow past that. We're not going to get too hard into that. But
we just noticed it because we noticed all.
When she gets the news, she turns her mic off. And when she goes to talk to Steve, when he gets there, he refuses to get mic'd. So they have a conversation. In which we do not hear what they're saying. By the time they come in and are both mic'd, he's visibly upset.
Yeah, he's moving his hat off his head. He's sweating.
Completely pissed off. And then he turns this conversation where she doesn't like full on blame her, but he talks about how, we had deal fatigue. We needed to keep our foot on the gas.
Going, pressure.
And it just feels like he's sort of saying, you didn't do your due diligence. And she already feels responsible because she sees him, Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
She sees him.
She's not a dumb woman. She's just blinded by love. Her love, not his.
Yeah, exactly. Because he doesn't love her. And so we get that. That's when she also tells them they're not getting the money. She tells Steven Jr. they're not getting the money. And they have to go from that to the end of the planting corn star situation in which we clocked it. Casey has a red Make America Great Again hat.
For like 5 seconds. She like zoom in, and I'm sure Mom was like, they probably told her to take that shit.
Yeah, they were like, listen, nobody wants to see that shit. But, you know.
It's USA. Well, it's USA themed. So,
I think it was around 4th of July, too, because everybody was wearing like American flag stuff. But, you know, this is nobody's surprised that this family is leaning a little bit right.
Yeah.
But Steve Sr., drunk as hell. All this news is weighing on him. He is sweating through his jeans and his shirt. He is cross-eyed. He's doing shots of Fireball. Like,
he said shots back to back to back.
And
Mama Tessa could tell something was up. She was like, I've never seen him like this, which I find hard to believe.
I don't know. I don't know. He seems like he likes to be in control in terms of business. But Galyna says something here where she's like, listen, man, this deal didn't go through. I'm not even important. I'm just another Brooke.
Yeah, she was like, I'm just another
Which is so awful.
Yeah.
Steve Sr. gets on the mic. He's like, fucking fuckersons. Cursing,
he's
sweating.
like, if you don't love agriculture, get the fuck out of here.
This is a man's job. And poor Jesse wants to just turn in on himself. He's so embarrassed.
Thank goodness he wasn't up there, because if he was up there, I don't even know if his face can get red, but it would have been. I think it was Cole and Steve Jr. that were up there, and they're like trying to get the mic, and he's like swaying away from him. He's like, nope, I'm in it now.
Cole's suspicious. Everybody's like, man, I ain't never seen him this way. They show up to the place the next day, and they're all trying to like clean up, and Tessa worries what the repercussions will be. We leave it.
They can all tell that something's going on. They're all like, what's going on? What's going on?
We leave it on a giant cliffhanger. Calla goes home to her $3,000 a month apartment, and Steve Jr. breaks the news to Cole and Jesse. We're on our own. Dad is leaving. We don't know when he'll be back. And Junior's in charge. I know y'all want it. Too bad, so sad. This is what I'm doing.
He left it to me. I'm like, did he, or did he just leave and not say anything?
I feel like he just left and said, but like, who else is going to be in charge? He knows how to do everything.
Yeah, he
like,
does payroll.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that is all of season 1. I am really, really excited to see where we pick up with Galyna, where we pick up with Steve Sr.
We also find out it's not 50, it's $70 million in loans now at the very end.
Yeah.
They bumped it up, I guess, after the meat packaging or the deal they did at the bank with Cole.
Yeah.
So now it's $70 million, which is just, I can't even fathom that much money.
Yeah, that's more money than I can imagine. But so come back for season 2. We're going to try to get through it and give you little highlights of it.
We're going to try to be done by the time, which if we do it like this, we only have 2 more episodes, and then we can catch up. Because I think episode 3 just came out of.
Yeah, so then we'll do the first 3 of season 3, and then we can just do 1 week to week to week. So, because this is a real marathon, but we're trying to get caught up, and these are trash, but I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
It's pretty cool. Once we get into season 2, it'll be a lot easier, because me and we watched some of them, and then we decided to do this, and we had to go back and rewatch and take the notes. So season 2 will be really interesting, because I think we meet a lot of new people.
And I'm hoping we meet Christy, the boy's mom. I'm hoping.
Too.
So
and maybe some more Braden. We'll know. Who knows?
Yeah. Fuck you, Braden. You don't count. But anyway, find us on all of our social media at TechApinoPod on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. And as always, you can email any suggestions or any thoughts you're having to Jeff@apinopod.com.
Bye.